Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda, and in this training video I'm going to talk about the new economic threat, workers not wanting to go back to work for reasons which I completely understand and I completely respect. In this training video I'm going to go over three things: the current status of unemployment benefits, the concerns that workers have about going back to work, and number three, what I think is likely to happen in the future going forward. So let's start with the current state of the unemployment benefits. Before I get into that, if you're not an existing subscriber yet, please consider clicking the subscribe button below. Please enable notifications and please smash the like button because it really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Here are the current state of unemployment benefits. And by the way, I've done several video trainings on unemployment benefits, and I have an unemployment benefits crash course which you can access. It's one of the playlists on my channel, so please check that out. I'll answer most questions about unemployment benefits. Here's the current state of unemployment benefits. The unemployment benefit system was set up back in the 1930s, and it was designed to replace approximately 40% of an individual's salary so that an individual would have enough money just to cover their basic expenses and they would be motivated to go out and look for a job. However, the situation that we find ourselves in is extremely unusual. It's never happened before in the history of the United States. It's actually never happened before in the history of the world, where an individual is at home, but an individual needs to be incentivized not to go out there and look for a job, because going out there could potentially lead to more problems. We've never seen this happen in the history of the world, and I hope, knock on wood, that we never have to see something like this happen again. This creates a situation where the federal government not only expanded the unemployment benefits from an average of 26 weeks, it's dependent on your state, by an additional 13 weeks, and on top of that provided the $600 a week federal booster to individuals who qualify. So individuals who are now getting on average $371 a week, which by the way is a national average for unemployment benefits. It varies from one state to another, and you can check out other video trainings on the channel where I talk about that in a lot more detail. But with the $600 federal booster, it's almost $1,000 a week. Now here's the situation. With $1,000 a week, most of us can pay our bills, most of us can pay our rent, can pay our mortgage, and maybe even have a little bit of money left over. But at the end of the day, a lot of us do want to get back to work when it's safe. This is the important part, when it's safe. Now, if we don't feel safe and we don't want to go back to work, I completely understand that, I completely respect that, and I agree with that. And I think so should the Democrats and the Republicans, because this is a situation where if an individual feels unsafe, that's number one. Number two, if an individual has childcare responsibilities, because now I'm getting into what's actually causing individuals and causing workers to not want to go back to work. So again, if you don't feel safe, if you have childcare responsibilities, and if you have other dependents that you're taking care of, potentially someone who's been affected by this pandemic, you're not going to be willing to go back to work. Now, on top of that, if you have an additional $600 a week booster, which means you're getting close to $1,000 a week in unemployment benefits. By the way, this additional $600 booster is scheduled to end on the 31st of July. And as far as the Republicans are concerned, the economic advisor to the White House, Larry Kudlow, basically said he does not see the $600 federal booster being extended past the 31st of July, because what the Republicans want is for everyone to get back to work. They want the economy to start again. And again, I can see all points of view. For me, it's never been about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I am concerned with what's best for my subscribers. My belief is, and I'm sure a lot of my subscribers would agree, that if you feel safe, if you feel that your children are taken care of, by the way, this is where schools and childcare centers play a huge role, because I believe if schools don't reopen, if daycares don't open, if childcare centers don't reopen, it's going to be hard for individuals to go back to work. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and it's unless daycare is open, me and my wife, we have to make adjustments in our household. That's just the reality of the situation. So again, the three factors that keep individuals from going back to work, even if they've been offered a job, are number one, the feeling of not being safe, the feeling of sort of endangering your own safety. Why would anyone want to do that? No one should do that, and no one should even be in that position to begin with. So if you don't feel safe, you're not going to want to go back to work. That's number one. Number two, childcare. If you don't have anyone to take care of your children, whether it's your school, whether it's your daycare, you're not going to be able to just go to work. You can't. It's just not possible. And number three, if you're getting the $600 a week federal booster, in other words, you're getting close to $1,000 a week, it can act as a disincentive for you to go back to the work, at least as far as the Republicans are concerned. So again, there's opposing beliefs between the Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrats want more stimulus. They want to expand the unemployment benefits. They want to give more money to more people, whereas the Republicans want to be fiscally more conservative. Now, there's a reason we have sort of two sides and two parties. There are opposing points of view, and hopefully the most acceptable, the most widely beneficial point of view comes through and becomes another new law, which is then signed by the president. I'm confident. I believe in the system, and I know that a lot of my subscribers are unhappy with the way things are, but I'm an eternal optimist, and I'm confident that there will be something that will come through quickly. Now, should it have happened already? I agree with that, but again, we have to wait for the two sides to come together to see eye to eye, because that's how our system is. So we talked about safety, we talked about childcare, we talked about the disincentive. As far as safety is concerned, I believe that once the incidents of this situation, this pandemic decline, I believe that once something called herd immunity emerges, which by the way could take several months, once there's a vaccine, individuals are going to feel much, much, much safer getting back to work. And I do believe that that's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but that is going to happen, because that is the way forward for all of us. Number two, when childcare centers open, when schools open, when parents know that their children are going to be taken care of, they will then be able to go back to work. By the way, speaking of going back to work, I think there are going to be some permanent shifts in our behavior. I think a lot of individuals will work from home. A lot of companies will accept and encourage individuals to work from home. A lot of big companies have already announced that several of their employees can now work from home. A majority of their employees can work from home permanently. So that is a big shift that I'm starting to see now. And then the third factor is the unemployment benefit booster. When this booster runs out, which is the $600 a week booster, it's scheduled to run out on the 31st of July. That also is going to be an incentive to encourage individuals to get back to work. My belief is that if you feel safe, and if you have dependents, if your dependents are taken care of, and if you're offered your job to get back to work, then you should be able to get back to work as long as you feel safe, and as long as your children, if you have children, are taken care of. Then all of us do want to get back to work, because all of us want to contribute economically. All of us want to be a part of society as long as we feel safe. So there is that balance that needs to be struck. This isn't something that we can be forced into. This isn't something where you can just flip a switch and make a decision. This is going to come down to individual choices. It's going to come down to individual circumstances, because all of us have different circumstances. There is no one size fits all approach in this. So please don't make the mistake of thinking you either have to go back to work or you either have to remain on unemployment. It's not like that. Every situation is different, every scenario is different, and more importantly, in every state, the incidence of this illness are also different. I believe that this will happen in waves throughout the country. There'll be some states that will do well and will get back on their feet faster, while other states take a bit of a setback. And hopefully we can all rise up and all the states can be up and running as quickly as possible. So here's what I believe will happen next, because I want to be realistic with my subscribers. The unemployment benefits will not last indefinitely. There is going to be a push from the House and the Senate to at some point get all of us back to work. That's point number one. So these unemployment benefits at some point in time will end. They were not designed to indefinitely sustain individuals. They were designed as a temporary measure. Now they've been expanded to accommodate this scenario that we find ourselves in, but they will not last indefinitely. That's point number one. Number two is we all will need to get back to work as soon as we feel safe. If we don't feel safe, we definitely should not go back to work. And point number three, I think there'll be a fundamental re-engineering of the entire job market. I think now is the time to hopefully learn new skills, acquire new skills, maybe learn new ways to be more productive on the computer, do teleconferencing, do video conferencing if your job allows that, because the ability to be productive from home with a good computer, a fast internet connection, a phone line, the ability to do video conferencing, the ability to teach if you're a teacher, the ability to maybe even do online classes if you're a gym instructor. Those kinds of jobs, those kinds of situations will now become the new normal. Now, there will always be jobs where the face-to-face interaction can never be replaced. Like, let's say you work in a restaurant, for example. Those are the industries that could potentially take longer to recover, because in my opinion, the way we'll recover is, I believe, the healthcare industry, a lot of doctors' offices will recover first. And I believe the restaurant and the travel industry will recover last. That is my personal opinion. Because at the end of the day, once all this is over, a lot of us still need the basics. We need something as simple as getting our hair cut. We need to be able to go to the doctor. If you've got knee pain and you've held off on going to the doctor, or if you have diabetes or heart disease, you need to be able to get back to your doctor and be able to get new care and get a revised plan of care. So we are living in a new world. We are living in what I consider to be the new normal. And I believe that the belief that workers should not go back to work, on one hand, it's an economic threat, but on the other hand, it's a human reality. At the end of the day, this is not just about livelihood, this is about lives. It's about the balancing of lives versus livelihood. I believe that if you don't feel safe, you shouldn't go back to work. But as long as you feel safe, and as long as your employer has offered you your job back, and as long as you have no other dependencies, such as having children or having some other senior dependents, you should be able to go back to work, because now you're going back and contributing economically to society. Again, the unemployment benefits were designed to be a temporary phenomenon, and in this situation, they've become more than a temporary phenomenon, but they will never be permanent. They cannot be permanent. That was never the intention. We need to learn new skills. We need to be able to get back into the workforce as quickly as possible. We need to surround ourselves with the right people, establish new networks, potentially look for new opportunities in employment, and contribute and survive this. And even hopefully one day when we look back at this, hopefully we can say that not only did we get through it, maybe we came out on the other side stronger. And I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but I know we can and we will. I appreciate you so much for watching. I'm with you, and I want you to subscribe. If you want to hear from me again, I want you to enable notifications so you get an instant update whenever I release a training video. And please click the like button if you share my thoughts. Please comment below, exchange views, and engage with the community. Our community has been growing very, very rapidly, and I'm looking forward to interacting with you. I release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. So make sure that you look out for my video trainings at that time at 2 p.m. East Coast time. Typically for the first half an hour to an hour after I release the video, I do stick around to answer any questions, and I'm happy to engage. I appreciate you all. We will get through this. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next training video.